And we are live. Welcome back to Big Mouth and welcome to Big Mouth Live. And Zack Snyder's Army of the Dead is getting rave reviews, apart from one shitty review from Screen Rant Molly Freeman. But it's interesting when we look at that. And thanks for the likes, 2 likes already. But the reviews are saying it's brilliantly visually. It's exciting and it's fun. But the question I'm asking tonight, is it enough to have a fun movie? Bobcat, hey Mickey. Hey Bobcat, Ronnie Dodge. Hello Mick. Hello Ronnie Dodge. I'm taking Dodge isn't your real surname, is it? It's a good one, no? Anyway, is it enough for a film to be fun and to have great VFX? So everyone apart from Molly Freeman seems to have loved this film. Yeah, it is. I think when I was growing up in the 70s and the 80s and the 90s, you had to be a lot more than a fun time at the movies. Now, Star Wars: A New Hope was a fun time at the movies and VFX was fantastic. But there was so much more to that film. That film had to be groundbreaking. It was groundbreaking, right? And one of the words we lack in these days, movies and TV shows, is originality. Ronnie Dodge. Yeah, Dodge is my real surname. Awesome. I thought it was a nickname. Hey, Mick. Why are we... What? I don't get it. They're reviewing someone's message. Oh, my God. What is wrong? Marcus Walker. Evening, Mick. Evening, Marcus. It just seems we lack originality in today's movie making and TV shows. It's, you know, when I hear directors and creators talking, it's like, oh, it's like that film or it's like this film, right? It's, you know, there's just no originality. So, it's interesting listening to the reviews. It's not a perfect film, they're saying. It's fun. It looks great. But then again, some people are saying this is the best zombie movie in over 10 years. So I'm really looking forward to seeing Zack Snyder's Army of the Dead. He is the director of the moment. Why is everyone obsessed? Why is everyone obsessed with Snyder? What is it about Snyder? I think it is because he's different. He's unique. Now, I think if you look at him as a person, he's ununique. He's not that confident when he talks. But I think in terms of a filmmaker, he is unique because he basically says, I am going to make these out there movies, right? But also, he's not taking on anything that's that original in terms of subject matter. He's doing superheroes. He's doing zombies. It's not like he's taking something original and doing something of his own. Ronnie Dodge, Maribel Verdú has started filming her scenes for Nora Allen for the Flash movie today. That's awesome. So we're filming in the new universe that Barry creates when he goes back to save his mother's life. So that's very exciting. So Maribel Verdú is playing Nora Allen, which is very exciting. So thanks for that information. Ronnie, you should just take my job, mate. I don't know anything. I'm useless. So that's very, very exciting. So even Snyder, to a point, the films he makes are unique. They are very visceral. Ronnie Dodge, she posted on Instagram about it. I should be following her. But how the hell am I gonna remember that bloody name? So Bobcat currently blackwashing some gear. Interesting. What does that mean? What does that mean? Sounds a bit dodgy. What are you actually doing? Marcus Walker, he comes across as very likable and clearly adores the fans. I can't think of any other director who interact with their fans to the extent he does. He is very interactive, but although I'll say this, James Gunn is also very, very interactive with his fans. Send the Jan reviews. Do you think Zack's discussing Man of Steel 2 mean it can happen? Not necessarily. He's using it as a way to amp us up, the fans, to push for Restore the Snyderverse more. That's what he's doing. But for me, as much as I like BVS, it wasn't the right decision putting Batman in a Man of Steel sequel. He should have been in his own movie. But the rest of it, the Brainiac stuff, continuing from Welcome to the Planet, all of that really excites me. The Phantom Zone, that sounds like a better idea. But once he suggested Batman being in it, and it was his idea, it looks like WB wanted them to fight. So Snyder, even though the films he makes are very different to other people's, he's even deconstructing these zombies. So that's interesting as well, isn't it? But yeah, I don't think there's much originality. It's all about kind of existing IPs, isn't it? There's not that Field of Dreams. There's not revenge, or there's not that original take now. It's all on existing IPs. So even though Snyder is very different in his filmmaking, he is working on existing properties. Bobcat. So basically, you take a knife and cut into gear like costumes and weapons and blackwash it to make it look old, chipped and worn like it's been in a couple of fights before. Oh, you're doing it for your YouTube. Good stuff. Marcus Walker, his visuals are unmatched. His visuals are fantastic. There's no question about it. But that's my question. Surely it takes more than being good with visuals to be a great director making great content. Ronnie Dodge, I like Zack, but end of the day, Warner Bros. Probably didn't want Zack in the first place, but he got his trilogy. Yeah, they didn't want him. Nolan wanted him. Sunjan reviews, why can't Batman be in Man of Steel 2? He can be in that in his own movie. He should have been in his own, in my opinion, he should have been in his own movie, then Man of Steel 2. Then he could have cameoed in Man of Steel 2. I'm fine with that. But we know nothing about this Batman, right? The only stuff we know about his backstory is the stuff Snyder's told us on Vero. That's not the way these things should play out. This is part of the problem for me. What was I going to say? So we do lack originality these days. Now, what else I want to talk about is a Superman's no-kill policy and where it's been displayed the best. Superman versus the Elite, the comic book, and the animated adaptation of that comic book, and Jeff Johns' Smallville episode, Legion. That's the two pieces of media where Superman's no-kill policy, it demonstrates how important it is. Bobcat, build it up rather than force it. Post-credit scenes are key, absolutely. They originally were going to have Batman picking up some kryptonite in the post-credit scene of Man of Steel, and Snyder doesn't like post-credit scenes, so he didn't do it. Big mistake. So I want to talk about Superman's no-kill policy. Now, in Superman versus the Elite, Manchester Black spends the whole story trying to force Superman to kill. Now, his point of view is, if you kill them, they can't come back to do more harm. Now, Superman refuses, but then the public side with Manchester and say, yes, Suit, why don't you kill? It's so much easier. You've got the ability. Why don't you kill? And by the end of the film, he does something that nobody expected him to do. He creates this illusion that he's actually killed Manchester Black's Elite team. Ronnie Dodge, yeah, BVS wasn't a good place to bring in Batman. Should have had his solo movie first, and that's why it went down the pan, in my opinion, and made it messy. Agreed. To a point, although BVS is an amazing film. Marcus Walker, what are thoughts on John's Mick? Do you believe Ray's accusations of racism and career threatening? I believe that he gently said to him, look, I'm trying to help you out here. You know, it could end up badly for you if you carry on pushing. So I think look, Marcus, in this industry, do you realize how many times producers and directors threaten people's jobs? It happens all the time. You know, your bonus features you get on your Blu-ray and your 4Ks are not real. They're not really good friends. They don't get on for the whole fucking shoot. It's a stressful job. So to me, it's just part of the job, right? Now, the racism, no, I don't believe the racism at all. I think the racism is bullshit, and Fisher brought that into the argument purposely because that's his agenda. So what happens at the end of Superman versus the Elite is very interesting because Superman creates this illusion that he's killed Manchester Black's Elite team. Now, Manchester Black can't believe this. He screams, this isn't you, but it is. It is me now. He looks into Superman's angry, messed up eyes and sees a killer. Superman makes a point, but then reveals he didn't kill the Elite. and he says, I will never, ever kill. That, for me, is one of the best displays of why Superman shouldn't kill, because it makes him better than everyone. It makes him better than you and me. It makes him better than the villains. A person that we can really look up to. He's got all this power, but he resists killing. Now, in the Smallville episode, the Legion, right? The Legion come and say, Chloe Sullivan is now Brainiac and you have to kill her. And Clark says, I will never kill a person, and I certainly won't kill my best friend. So all throughout the episode, everyone, even Lana kind of puts it to him, right? So everyone's coming at him. You've got to kill her. You've got to kill her. He refuses. He finds another way. And he says to the Legion at the end of the episode, I want you to remember one thing. There's always another way. And that's the point. Now, that's interesting with Man of Steel, because people always say he had no choice, and to a point he didn't. But Goya put that in the story. He didn't have to make the character kill. But if Superman learned a lesson that made him know how it feels to kill, and then say, oh, I know how it feels to kill, I will never do it again, then I would have really been more supportive of that. I wasn't triggered by it. I find it a very compelling moment. But at the end of the day, it's all right for Zack to say, you know, get the fuck real. This is the real world. Well, Superman's not in the real world, Zack. Now, you can put these characters in the real world, but you've got to understand, these are characters. Superman's a character that people have idolized and looked up to for years. And one of the main reasons is because he's better than us. Morally, he's better than us. Now, we will keep on making mistakes and hate each other. People will kill each other. But Superman is creating an example, and that's important. Ronnie Dodge, did you see on James Gunn's Instagram, a rude Snyder fan was saying no one wants Peacemaker? I just disappointed in people like that. I agree, but I saw Gunn's response, and it was fantastic. He exposed him so well. And I read it out on today's Big Mouth Daily. I don't know if you saw that. Bobcat, these are beloved characters, and people aren't always happy when you change things. But the thing is, Bobcat, in Smallville, Lex Luthor moves to Smallville, which is not in the comics. Well, it's in the Superboy comic from the 1960s, where for one edition, he comes to Smallville, he has a chemical accident, 1 minute he's friends with Clark, and then he swears that they're enemies, right? So it's there, but that was one thing people said, this is not from the comics, right? But it worked. If you change something that you can make work, that's fine. Lex Luthor being on Smallville kind of made the show better, but the no-kill policy is a very dangerous rule to break in terms of the public, right? And it was a mistake, because that means we were going downhill from the beginning. Marcus Walker, people don't like to see their idols deconstructed or challenged. Now, he was deconstructing them to rise them up again, to reconstruct them, which is good. But as I say, once you break that no-kill policy, you're in trouble, because that's one of the cardinal kind of policies that Superman has, right? You can argue whether Batman has killed before or hasn't killed before. I mean, people were trying to justify the Superman kill by saying he killed the villains from Krypton in Superman 2. He did not do that, right? Bobcat, Superman and Batman shouldn't kill. Batman can probably get away with it, Bobcat, a lot more. But I know in a lot of iterations of the comics, he doesn't kill. And that's one of his, that's one of his rules. Batman's not as pure as Superman, but at the end of the day, I know that Batman, the diehard Batman fans do not like him killing. So that's true. But in terms of Superman, it was a dumb thing to do. They were trying to be smart. I think the only reason Goya had him kill Zod was to create controversy and conversation. And I think, at the end of the day, look, he could, but for me, Batman doesn't kill. Yeah, absolutely. As I say, diehard Batman fans don't want to see it, right? Let's see if he kills him. Matt Reeves, the Batman. He beats the shit out of one of those villains, which that's fine. So we'll see if he kills in that movie. I think it will be more faithful to the DC comics rather than other iterations of Batman, because Reeves is a diehard Batman fan, and I could just see him bringing the Bat family together and being more loyal to actually what's gone before. But that's the thing. So I think that was a mistake, because the franchise was in a downward spiral. I remember when Snyder was announced for Man of Steel, and I didn't even know who Snyder was. And someone told me, well, he did 300 and Watchmen. And I thought, well, I quite like those films. So I'm okay with this, but people were going mad. So already, so many people hated him. So already, you're pushing, you're going up a hill and falling down it. And that's what the DCEU is from its inception. But then, when you have Superman killing, and it was so dumb killing Zod, because we could have had him reprise his role. He was probably one of the best villains in CBM history, and to kill him off didn't make sense. And ultimately, he kills him off, he screams, and then in the next scenes, there's lots of levity and smiles. Welcome to the planet. But you just killed someone, mate. You're over it already. You know, that was the problem. Ronnie Dodge. I mean, the Batman looks like it's following the footsteps of the Long Halloween comic. Yeah, Ronnie, a lot of people are saying that. I don't know the comic, but I'm very excited for the film. The right man to be doing this, and he's working quietly, no controversy. Marcus Walker, I always wondered what happened to the endless amount of goons and henchmen Adam West beats up in the 60s series. You never see them get up again. Well, Marcus, I can guarantee you the softness of the punches didn't kill them, but I know what you mean. But all that stuff we watched as kids, like Knight Rider, the A-Team, one little punch and they were out cold, weren't they? So Black Rock 316, I don't think we've met before, have we? Pleased to meet you. Crazy how it's a reboot and right out the gate they let Superman kill Zod. Yes, look at the reaction. Now, I understand that you should have freedom to create what you want, but there is a responsibility when you're dealing with iconic characters. So as wonderful as Snyder is as a creative, and the man makes things look beautiful, he uses CGI like a paintbrush. It's amazing. His films are very visceral, beautiful. In storytelling terms, I don't think he's the perfect storyteller, by the way, but visually, I think, you know what the best use of Snyder would be? Him directing for a writer, him directing while somebody else writes the story, and someone that he doesn't choose. Ronnie Dodge, that's what I'm excited about for the Flash movie, is Keaton's Batman gone darker as time has gone on. You know, I suppose he's going to be a bit like Luke Skywalker in The Last Jedi, which kind of, oh my God, but so he's going to be a bit bitter and twisted at first, but I think his friendship with Barry will bloom and it will bring him back to what he once was. Bobcat, I'd love a Christmas season Batman movie. Not a lot of action movies do it, but I love the snow aesthetic. Oh yeah, and Batman Returns did that aesthetic, didn't it? Which was great. So when you're dealing with these characters, you can't just do what you want with them, right? Zach loves to wind people up. He likes to trigger people, and you know that's up to him. Marcus Walker, Batman Returns is a lovely Christmas film for the whole family. I think Batman Returns is one of my favourite Batman films. I think it's so brilliant. Bobcat, why it's one of my favourites. It's one of my favourites as well. Ronnie Dodge, you've got to think the last Superman movie we had before Man of Steel was Superman Returns, and love or hate that movie, I liked it. Well, Superman Returns made many mistakes. Now, Singer came up with a clever idea to continue the Donnerverse, which is a good idea, but Metropolis looks nothing like Donner's Metropolis. Singer's Daily Planet looks nothing like Donner's Daily Planet. It doesn't look like the same world, but I actually enjoy the film. It's more Superman, it's more pure Superman, but Singer should have done his own thing. He shouldn't have continued the Donnerverse. Singer is a talented man, no matter his crimes, and I don't want to go into that right now. But I think if he did his own thing, and I think his Superman Man of Steel movie, which was the sequel to Superman Returns, a script that I've looked at, was very, very good. He was actually going to kill his own son by accident because Brainiac was going to be in Singer's sequel as well. I was still gutted we never got that. Marcus Walker agreed. It's a brilliant start to finish. Bobcat, we need Clayface in a Batman movie. Who knows? Who knows? Who knows what we get? You know? I think it's all up for grabs as well, because these characters can turn up anywhere. I think we're going to have to be patient. There's only so much you can do. But it's interesting. We're getting the Riddler. We've only had the Riddler in a Batman movie once. So, and we're getting a different version, to Enigma, which is interesting as well. This is an interesting choice by Matt Reeves. I was surprised, but it's interesting. I don't think we really understand what kind of movie the Batman is yet. Well, I kind of do, but I think the Batman is not just a detective movie. It's kind of a revenge film. It's a conspiracy movie, and I think it's very, very interesting. Ronnie Dodge, yeah, Brandon Routh needs another needs another chance. I like him as a Kingdom Come Superman in Crisis. The only thing I like about Brandon in Crisis, his costume. Bobcat, he can legitimately disguise as Batman's loved ones. He could turn into his parents. Oh, wow, I didn't realize that. Come on, let's do it. That would be awesome, wouldn't it? Especially with the VFX they've got today. That would be sensational. I'm surprised nobody's done it yet. And the other thing is, with comic book movies, everyone's got an opinion. When you're dealing with iconic characters, everyone's got an opinion. It's difficult. So you need a solid foundation to get enough support behind you. So if you're too controversial, like Snyder is, you've got a problem. Now, he's got his own army of fans, and that's great, but it's not enough. Not enough for a DC IP. Bobcat, that's like Mysterio level stuff. BlackRock 316, we need some fantastical elements in the Batman universe for sure, and they're there. I mean, we've seen lots of different things in animation, haven't we? I mean, sometimes in the animated shows, he's even gone up to space. So, yeah, and he's fought kind of real supervillains as well. So there's so much you can do with Batman. I think what Matt's doing is going down this kind of gritty detective drama, and I'm here for it. Marcus Walker, I seriously can't wait for the Batman. Great that filmmakers are finally bringing other villains than the Joker to the forefront. Yeah, I think the Joker is so tempting because he's so good, but I do like the Joker, so I never complain when we get him. I think Cesar Romero, great Joker. I think Jack Nicholson, great Joker. Heath Ledger, great Joker. Joaquin, great Joker. The Kid in the Gotham series, great Joker. We literally haven't had a shit Joker. That says something, how important this character is. So that's an interesting thing, isn't it? But yeah, I can't wait for the Batman. Very, very, very excited to see what Matt's done with it. Trailer, I don't know when, but looking forward to seeing it. I wonder if they're going to be doing test screenings. They've completed that movie, but I'm sure he's doing post now on it, isn't he? So that's interesting. So I wonder if there's a test screening for that, because it's out early next year and we're not too far away. I know we're a few months away, but we're talking early 2022, which is exciting. Do you know what I'd love? If we got a shock at Fandom and they were releasing it at the end of October or something, or November. That would be nuts. Do you imagine if they did that as a big surprise? Raven could be a good villain who turns good, a spy of Trigon, kind of like Gamora, Bobcat. Yeah, that would be awesome. Marcus Walker, there should be a law passed stating William Dafoe has to play the character before he retires. Oh, the Joker. He would be a great Joker, wouldn't he? An older Joker, a grittier Joker. William Dafoe, of course, has got great quality. Wasn't he brilliant as Norman Osborn in Raimi's Spider-Man, first Spider-Man movie? What a great pick that was. Raimi's got great quality. Raimi's a bit like Matt Reeves. He's so in love with the property. That's what I like about Raimi and Matt Reeves. You can tell they love the original stuff. That's what I like about them. A bit like James Gunn as well. Marcus Walker, there should be a no. Ronnie Dodge, the thing in the Snyderverse can't attract the general audience and families. And that's probably why it didn't hit off in the first place. And I love them 3 movies, so do I. And I think this is why Warner Brothers are walking away from it. They know centrally it can't work. It could only have worked on HBO Max. And I think Zack didn't want it over there. He wanted his universe centrally. He wanted to run the whole thing. They said no. They fell out. That's my theory. And no one's got any proof that I'm wrong. I can't prove that I'm right. But the whole thing, as I keep on saying, simply doesn't make sense. So, And people can be biased and keep on denying it. See, the thing is with Matt Reeves and James Gunn, they respect the source material. Snyder knows comics. Snyder loves comics. He used to sit at home with his children and watch Smallville. He loves the universe, but he likes to mess with it too much. That's the problem. Now, for example, what is it? What's the Dark Knight Returns, right? He tried to squeeze that into kind of Batman versus Superman, but you shouldn't do it like that. You know, the Dark Knight Returns should be a movie in its own right, and it should be copy and pasted. That's too perfect to fuck around with. You can't just shove it in there. And you know, he's put images from that, but that's not enough. Kavari, hey chat, hey Kavari, Ronnie Dodge. Within the 24 hours at DC Fandom, it's gonna crazy, and trailer after trailer. Oh yeah, I can't wait. It's gonna be a birthday party with the perfect set of presents and perfect cake. Cake. Could do with a cake right now. But yes, it's going to be awesome, isn't it? It really is. So I think when you're messing around with superheroes, you've got to be careful. Now, the MCU have taken some liberties. Civil War was nothing like the Civil War comics. But he only did Civil War because he felt under pressure from BVS, which he admitted. So he wanted to do a darker movie. And it worked for him. It worked for the studio. It was a big hit, a bigger hit than BVS. Because Fade's clever. He did the normal MCU banter and lightness, but he also put some darkness in it as well. And it worked. It really did. We never saw Tony Stark so dark, so vengeful. And, you know, brilliant. A really good film. Would I say it's better than BVS? No. As a film, BVS is brilliant. As a comic book movie, it has issues because it's taking a lot of liberties. Bobcat, Harley Quinn announcement, fingers crossed. Oh, yeah? Do you know something, Bobcat? But Black Rocks 316. I like BVS, but to this day, I don't understand why Snyder put those side plots along with the death of Superman in one movie. Yeah, well, you know what? He brought in Terrio, a writer he didn't know because Ben Affleck wanted him, and they'd never worked together before. It's messy. It's really messy. Kavari, Civil War is a better the movie. The comic, no. Civil War's the comic. I don't know if that's what you're trying to allude to. Civil War's the comic or the comic series is much better than the movie. There's no question about that. That should have been a Disney Plus series. Sam Dejan reviews. They better announce Man of Steel 2 at DC Fandom. Don't hold your breath. Don't hold your breath. At this moment in time, we don't really know what the plans are. Well, we kind of do and we don't. It looks like the Snyderverse is off the table. And there's certain elements of the Snyderverse they don't want to work with. Joel Davies. Hi, Mickey. Hi, Joel. Who would win in a fight between Batman and Iron Man? It's interesting because Iron Man's got quite a few gadgets, but so is Batman. I think Batman is just brutal. Batman would destroy him. He would just fucking smash him until he caved in his suit and just, you know, not kill him because we've had the no kill thing already, haven't we? But yeah, definitely. I think that Batman would destroy him. I don't think Tony Stark has got it in him. He's not brutal enough. Bobcat, I don't think the Snyderverse is going forward. No, I don't either, Bobcat. I think the conversations will run and run about that, won't they? And it's not something that's going to change in the near future. Bobcat, Batman probably has an electric batarang. He could toss into his arc reactor. Exactly. Destroy him. Well thought out. I just feel that the Snyderverse looks like it should be buried because it's not happening. And it's interesting, isn't it? Because when Zack was asked by that guy, can you give the fans hope? He wouldn't, should we keep on going? He didn't directly answer that. He said pure fans, maybe cool heads, you know, should come at Warner Brothers and who knows what they'll do. But Sam Dejan reviews, they can still do the Snyderverse. They don't need Zack to do it. That's interesting, Sam. How do you see that happening? Ronnie Dodge, I hope the Snyderverse fans eventually get excited like us about future DC movies, but can't see that happening. Neither can I. That's never going to happen. Look, they've got Army of the Dead. I think they should just focus on that and forget the DC. If you're not a DC fan and you're just here for Zack, bye-bye. Off to Netflix, please. Go away. Let us enjoy our DC. We're bored of your statements. Bobcat. A Raven movie could be good, I agree. I'd love that maybe after the Titans part ways. Call it Raven, Daughter of Darkness. That's a good name, actually. That's a very good name. And they're into doing female-led stuff, so yeah, definitely. I'd watch it. Sam the Jam reviews. Keep the actors and the story. Let someone else direct it. They don't like Zack. I think if Zack just directed, I think that would be perfect. That someone else who wasn't connected to him wrote the story and they could work together. The problem is Snyder creates stories within his directing. So that's never going to happen. He's never going to sit there and just direct something. So that's the problem. The best place for Zack is Netflix because creatively Netflix don't get involved. They let you do your thing. So that's the best place for him. And I know he's devastated. He's devastated. He wants to make more DC and he can't. Bobcat, Raven's mum could be the villain since Trigon would be dead. Yeah. Do you know what? Modern day entertainment don't like making the females the villains. You notice how the female heroes are always beating up men and not women? Ronnie Dodge, I was rewatching Flashpoint last night. Yeah, the smoke at Wayne Manor makes sense. Him trying to get his powers back. Yeah, it's about the lightning. It's about the lightning and trying to get his flash powers back again. Yeah. So I think that's what's going on. So I'd love to see that in live action. We've seen it in animation. We've seen it in the comics. But to see that and him keep on frying himself, right, is kind of a brutal moment. Bobcat, her mother and her siblings that actually could be quite good. Yeah, that would be interesting, wouldn't it? Raven's a very interesting character. In fact, if they do the DC Black Label, I'd like them to give Raven a try. She could be very interesting. It's interesting, actually, talking about ratings and box offices. It's interesting when you do a YouTube live, you can see how many people are watching, how many people come in, how many people leave. If you let that get to you when they go, that could be very disconcerting. Luckily, I don't do that. I mean, I can't get depressed when I barely get 20 people in a chat. You know what I mean? Bobcat, stick Starfire or Beast Boy in there, maybe, and it sounds quite good. Yeah, I agree, Bobcat. I'd be really interested in that. Expand your franchises, bring in new characters, you know. I'd love to see Raven and Superman, you know, talk. These are the kind of things we should be doing. From the beginning, they should have developed all these characters first. And they could have, you know, mixed up some interesting characters. So, Marcus Walker, did you see the leaked promo art for the Batman? No, I didn't. What is it? Let me know, Marcus. I'm very interested in all things the Batman because that is, I'm intrigued. I'll be honest. Pattinson is a very interesting choice. I mean, he's an indie actor. He's done very well for himself. So we're not talking about the actor who did whatever that stuff was, that vampire stuff. Although, you know, he was acting in that and he did well. And I think people give him a hard time over it. And I don't know why. Marcus Walker, him posing ready to throw a battering ring. Oh, yeah. I saw that briefly, but I was swiping up too quickly and I think I missed it. So hot. Like me. I mean, Bobcat, they could do their own Avengers Infinity War and Endgame with Darkseid or Anti-Monitor. I'd like to see the Anti-Monitor within the film universe a bit more. I mean, I know we saw him in the Crisis, but yeah, I'd like to see more of him. Marcus Walker, Batarang. Oh, correction, yeah. I did see you said Batarang, and I thought, well, maybe that's how you do it. So I wasn't sure. I thought maybe that's a comic thing, right? So, but I don't like correcting people's spelling mistakes and things like that because I think it's so uncouth and rude. I really do. Coming from someone who had, you know, extra lessons at school for reading and writing, I hate it when people say you don't punctuate. I don't punctuate. I don't. I never learned. It never went in my head. I don't expect you to Bring it at me, you know. We all have flaws. It's these beautiful mind people. Do you remember the Russell Crowe film? There's something wrong with them. And they have to bring up the fact that you spelt something wrong, that you're not punctuating. Just shut the F up. Stay in your lane. Stay in your lane, or Bad Mad Mick will get you. I just had a funny 5 seconds there. I just thought, Ronnie Dodge, I saw you retweeted about the DCEU and the Arrowverse having crossovers. You know what? This is from our beloved Small Screen. Small Screen's very, very similar to We've Got This Covered. So most of the stuff they say is bullshit. But I think that's going to happen. I think that's going to happen anyway. But they don't have, Small Screen do not have any exclusives. They are full of shit like We've Got This Covered. Marcus Walker, I don't envy you, Mick. I couldn't cope with the higher than 22 degrees. It's about 25 at night, and it's about 30, maybe 35 sometimes during the day. So it's very hot. I'm used to it now, though. And we've got aircon, which is good, yeah. But over in the UK, of course, when it does come to these temperatures, everyone goes, it's too hot. I can't handle it. Everyone in the UK moans about being cold. And when it's hot, it's like, oh. Roddy Dodge, last night. Yeah, last night. What happened last night? You didn't see me sleeping with that married woman, did you? Bobcat, do you know who Malcolm Merlin is? Yes, he was in the Arrowverse, wasn't he? Yes, he played by dodgy John Barrowman. Yeah, good character. I haven't read him in the comics though. I don't think was Sam Design Reviews. I don't think the Black Superman movie is happening. It's happening. Unless you've got some kind of exclusive for me, Sam, it's happening. Unless something's just broke in the last half an hour, 5 minutes, it's happening. That would be sensational if it wasn't happening. Not that I'd be happy about that, but it would just be amazing breaking news. As I say, if they do Calvin Ellis, they're on to a winner. Marcus Walker, dodgy Barrowman, yeah. Getting his thing out on set and terrorizing people. But it's all right. It's all right. He can do it, you see. There's certain demographics that can get away with anything, you see. Well, I was going to say dirty Barrowman. Sam Dejan Reviews, WB are saying it and then they will cancel it. Sam, I don't understand. WB are saying it. Sam, let me ask you a straight question. Has Warner Brothers come out to say they are cancelling Superman? Bobcat, I'd love an action scene with him where he runs out of arrows and just beats a guy to the pulp with his bow. Oh, that would be very dramatic, wouldn't it? Very. Cheers. But Marcus Walker, disgusting behaviour from him. Who? Oh, John Barrowman. Yeah. Definite. They cancelled The Trench. Well, New Gods was never greenlit, by the way, and The Trench was cancelled, which was surprising, but clearly they got other plans for something else, which we will find out. That's interesting, though, why they cancelled The Trench. But clearly they're doing something else. Otherwise they wouldn't have cancelled it. Bobcat, Mad Hatter's a cool villain too. Oh, yeah, definitely. Joel Davies, what did Barrowman do? Well, apparently on set he got his todger out and things like that. Obviously not as bad as Noel Clarke. Apparently nobody complained. Ronnie Dodge, I didn't. I just invested into aircon here in the UK, ready for the summer. I hope you get to use it, mate, because you do get hot summers now and again for a few days or weeks. But yeah, but at least you're prepared, right? Marcus Walker, I think WB are starting to get their act together. I agree. Marcus Walker, a certain body part out in the open. Exactly. For me to show that, someone has to ask first. Do you know what I mean? It's only polite. Don't show people your todger if they didn't ask to see it. And by the way, I mean women. Don't get any ideas. Women. Alpha male, love women. Nothing wrong. Nothing wrong if you're inclined other ways. You know, absolutely. I love everyone, but I love women. Bobcat, I'd love an Arkham film trilogy. Imagine that. That would be sensational. Ronnie Dodge, the days of Warner Brothers of cancelling stuff is over. They're getting stuff together. Look, they've got a plan. So basically, The Trench was cancelled because they've obviously got a better idea. That's clear to me. But so I was a bit disappointed about that, but these things happen. But nobody was surprised about New Gods being cancelled. And I tell you what, the sense of relief that that was cancelled and that toxic woman with her political messaging wasn't going to get to infect the DCEU made me so happy. Bobcat, I think Batman has so many good villains they just aren't using. Yeah, he's actually probably got too many. You can't use all of them, can you? That's the problem. And you know, they can only make one series at a time, one movie at a time, so you can't use them all. Although I think the 1960s Batman movie did the best thing, shoved a lot of them in the same film. And it actually worked. Them together was great. Oh, and the Catwoman in there, I really fancied that. Oh my God. But Batman, yeah, Batman has got some great villains, by the way. Marcus Walker, I love the concept of the trench, but I don't think it's strong enough for a film of its own. Yeah, I think the idea was interesting because the trench is a scary place, obviously, and maybe we could have learned about those characters. But I think what they decided was people are just not going to be interested in this. You hear the trench and you saw it in Aquaman and you think, yeah, but then you think, hang on a minute, we've got to do like 2 hours of this, 90 minutes of this. Is that going to work? Are people interested? No one's going to go to the movie theater to see that. So I think they were right. And I think obviously Ann Sarnoff came in and, you know, Jim Lee and Walter Hamada, and they discussed it and they thought better of it. Sam Jam reviews, The Trench could be on HBO Max. It could have been on HBO Max. I think, Sam, they've got another idea for an Aquaman spin-off. I think we're probably getting a Mera spin-off instead. Ronnie Dodge, I think the reason The Trench was cancelled was because of COVID, and also it was announced before the multiverse was announced. It was announced before the multiverse. I don't know. COVID is a poor excuse that everyone's using. It wasn't cancelled because of COVID, in my opinion. Anyway, it was just cancelled. I think they're doing a Mera spin-off. I think that's why. They're probably doing either a Mera spin-off or a Black Manta spin-off. I'd actually love Jeff Johns to be in charge of a Black Manta HBO Max show. I know everyone hates him, but I think it's his character. He didn't persuade them. He forced the issue and got him in the first Aquaman movie. So yeah, I think it was cancelled for creative reasons. I think they've had a better idea. Marcus Walker, there's the Aquaman animated series with Momoa coming too. Oh yeah, which is very exciting, by the way. So there is that as well, isn't it? They've got interesting ideas, and we've said this before, haven't we, on this channel? It's all about execution. If they get the execution right, it's interesting. So they got the execution of Aquaman right. They got the execution of Shazam right. So they can do it. Sam Jam reviews. The reason I don't think the Black Superman is happening is because there's too much problems. Well, there's not actually any problems from the people involved with the film. The problems are coming from people on Twitter, the Snyder fans, people who don't want Clark Kent to be race-bended, and I understand that, but I'm hoping and I'm confident Calvin Ellis will be the Superman they do, which will be awesome, Sam. Ronnie Dodge, that's what I'm excited about. The Batman having a handful of them villains in the movie, and by have I missed the Penguin. Oh yeah, the Penguin. I can't wait for that. Ronnie Dodge, boy have I missed, So the Batman's got a few villains in it, so it's interesting. But the main plot is, you know, the Riddler uncovering the conspiracy of what happened and who actually killed the Waynes. That's interesting, isn't it? Sam the Jam reviews, I feel like they're doing it to push Henry Cavill out the way. Well, listen, in practice, he's from another universe. He's from another Earth. So it shouldn't actually interfere with Henry's Superman. So hopefully, you know, there's more to come from Henry, at least in cameos. I'm still crossing my fingers that he'll be in the Suicide Squad. So listen, ultimately, I think if they recast the white Superman, then I'd say, yeah, you've got a point. Now, there's going to have to be some kind of announcement. Ultimately, Cavill's Superman can't just vanish. Do you understand? So when we come to Flashpoint, he's really got to be there. So they can't just push him away. So something's going on for sure. Ronnie Dodge, RWB doing it to get the Black Panther money? No. Oh, sorry, Sam Dejan reviews. Oh, hang on, Sam, I'll get to you in a minute. Ronnie Dodge, yeah, totally agree, McManto is one of the best DCEU villains. Oh, he's awesome. And James Wan did him good. Sam Dejan reviews, are WD doing it to get the Black Panther money? No, because at the end, well, listen, that's what Hollywood's about, isn't it? Trying to touch the moment. But at the end of the day, if they do Calvin Ellis, it's a character who should have been adapted years ago anyway. It doesn't really matter why they're doing it. Is the film good enough? Is it going to work? That's what I can't wait to find out. Marcus Walker, breaking news. Edward Norton has just been cast in Knives Out 2. Oh, do you know what? I'm happy you're excited, but that does nothing for me. I love Ed Norton, mainly for his performance in American History X. The man's great, and I'm happy. But at the end of the day, I haven't. Basically, they called Knives Out an original take. It's not. It's pretty much, it's a whodunit, right? So many people have done whodunits. Not that interested, but glad you're excited. Sam Dejan reviews. There's so many black characters in DC they can use, like Calvin Ellis, because he's actually a black character. So there's no evidence, Sam. They haven't actually said that they're race-bending Clark Kent. No one's actually said that. All these versions of Superman in the comic are called Kal-El, right? So there's no evidence for people to say, oh, look what they're doing. We don't know what they're doing. Maybe we should wait to find out and see what they're doing. That's the way I look at it anyway. How can I judge something? How can I say, oh, I don't like that food, it looks bad, when I haven't tasted it? Simple as that, isn't it? Sam Dejan reviews, why can't they do Man of Steel and introduce Steel, then make a Steel movie? Yes, that's great. They can do a Steel movie, but there's no reason why they can't do a Calvin Ellis Superman as well. We want to see Superman. So, Bobcat, Mad Hatter, Clayface, Cheshire, Copperhead, Firefly, Hush, Man-Bat, the ventriloquist, Grundy, I love Grundy, Baby Doll, Roxy Rockets, etc. Not all of them might sound cool, but could be made awesome. Yeah, definitely. But obviously they can only work at one project at a time. But I get what you're saying. These are characters that haven't really been used. Solomon Grundy, great character. And I think the Gotham TV show did really well with him. So I think I'd like to see him in live action a lot more, for sure. Sam Dejan reviews, Steel Cyborg, Black Lightning, Black Canary, Vixen, Batwing, Martian Manhunter. Hang on a minute. Bobcat, I also had this idea to make Penguin ex-Court of Owls. That would be awesome. Hang on a minute, everyone. I'm back. Right. Ronnie Dodge, I wonder if the Court of Owls are in the Batman. Well, they could be. Kavari, Grace Randolph said Walter asked Henry to do the cameo for Shazam, but he said no because he wanted A-list pay. She's talking. No, hang on a minute. Let's just say she's not talking shit. Why shouldn't Henry get A-list paid? But she's not speaking the truth anyway, right? She's not speaking the truth. And maybe she is speaking the truth. It's irrelevant. He deserves to be paid as much as everyone else, right? So she's talking shit. That's not why that film didn't happen. Ronnie Dodge, I'm excited to see Andy Serkis take on Alfred. Oh, yeah, that's going to be awesome. But Grace Randolph says a lot of things, Kavari, and it's irrelevant to me, really, if Henry wants more money or anything. But at the end of the day, the Shazam thing was obviously down to scheduling, right? There's a lot of stuff going on around about Henry, and 90% of it is bullshit. But at the end of the day, Henry Cavill will tell us if he's not Superman anymore. You know, they'll have to make an announcement. It will have to come out by a Hollywood Reporter. So nobody's told us he's not Superman anymore. That hasn't been told to us. Marcus Walker, she always seems to have a grudge against Henry. Did he turn her down? Yeah, honestly, I think she kind of laid there in some skimpy underwear and said, come on, Henry, I'm waiting for you. No, I don't think so. No. No. Get dressed, please, love. Because look, she doesn't like him. She doesn't think he's a good actor. Now, a failed Z-list actress talking about Henry's acting, who has been royally Shakespearean trained, right? It doesn't, her hatred for him is ridiculous. But this is the problem with her. Sometimes she's great and sometimes she's not. And she can be quite toxic. Bobcat, make it so Penguin is captured and experimented on and turned into a penguin man getting his name. Make a Batman movie with underground empires fighting. Penguin, Black Mask, Falcone, maybe the Owls. All some really good ideas there, Bobcat. Marcus Walker, same as the people pushing for him to become Captain Britain. Oh, yeah, it's so pathetic. That was another small screen article. Oh, what did small screen say? Marvel are keeping an eye on him, which means bullshit, you know nothing. The Captain Britain thing, look, at the end of the day, I don't want Cavill going anywhere. Marcus Walker, same as, read that. Sam DeJan reviews, will Superman be in the Suicide Squad? I hope so. I don't know if he is. They didn't show us anything, but I have a little feeling, yes. They're keeping, look, basically, right, let's put it this way. If he turns up in the Suicide Squad and cameos in every DCEU movie, these haters with their agendas are going to be crying, my friends. So it's going to be hilarious if Henry does cameo in the Suicide Squad. It'd be fucking hilarious because they're not going to like it, right? Oh, you betrayed Zach. Oh, this, oh, that. Blah, 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 blah. I want the Suicide Squad to make over $1 billion globally, and I want to see Superman in that movie just to piss them off. Bobcat, I think he will, and then the people be toxic to Gunn are going to be like, oh shit, yeah? And a lot of people won't be happy to see him. A lot of the Snyderverse fans won't be happy to see him in that film. If that film's successful, they'll find things to say. They're calling it the Marvel Squad and all that shit. Boring. I mean, they want to boycott WB, blah, blah, blah. The thing is, not enough people are going to boycott. Not enough people are not going to watch what's coming because we're DC fans. Ronnie Dodge, 80% of the time, she's always gets stuff wrong, but the Snyderverse fans love her because of her interviews with Zach. Yeah, well, this is what I say about Zach. He seems to be involved with some pretty toxic people in terms of YouTube and stuff. But at the end of the day, that's who he wants to go to. Good luck to him. But, that was fun. I'm glad that she didn't block me on YouTube when it was the build-up for the Snyder Cut because I was interested. But I don't really care now because he's not working with DC. Ronnie Dodge, oh no, I've read that. Sam DeJan reviews, we need a Green Arrow movie. I would really like that, Sam. I really would. I think that would be amazing. I've been hoping for that for a very long time. We've had two great live-action Arrows, Green Arrow versions, played by two really good actors. So hopefully we can get a live-action movie one. Bobcat, Gunn has no reason not to be risky anymore. WB won't fire him. If this goes well and Peacemaker and Harley Quinn do too, he might be able to be their Kevin Feige. Well, it's interesting. because you don't want too many leaders there. But in storytelling terms, he will be a great guy to have there because he seems to understand this stuff. And he understands the audience, the mainstream audience. They're important and they like him. Marcus Walker, it will be the same people who accuse WB of racism and threaten to boycott The Flash, but would be the first in line if Fisher was reinstated. Yeah, it's really funny. It's really funny. Sam Jan reviews, Charlie Hunnam should be Green Arrow. I know that's a popular fan cast, but not for me. No, don't want him as Green Arrow personally. I think there's better people. I'd rather an unknown, by the way. The two other guys who played Green Arrow, Oliver Queen, were unknown when they first got the gig. So, well, I know Stephen had been in Vampire Diaries, but I'd never watched that anyway. It's interesting. Obviously, they're shooting Flash now. It's very unlikely. But the only reason he's not in Flash, because he stated he would never work for Walter Hamada again. They didn't sack him. He sacked himself. Sanjidan Reeves, if he makes cameos, will he still get his movie? Don't know. Bobcat, I'd love a film or HBO Max series called Green Arrow and the Black Canary, and I think a lot of people would enjoy that, wouldn't they? I think that would be awesome. I really do. There's a lot going on in DC right now, that's for sure. We could do with some announcements, actually. We could do with something big. It's a bit quiet right now in terms of entertainment news. Nothing interesting is happening. I mean, yeah, I know that Ed Norton's been cast in Knives Out. When you said Ed Norton had been cast in something, I was getting excited that it was DC. But it was only Knives Out, alas. Hot Takes Tuesdays. Why do I keep missing the beginning? I don't know. You tell me. Bobcat, the Black Canary they have is amazing with Journey. She's pretty solid for sure. Sam DeJane reviews, Journey Smollett should return as Black Canary. Well, a lot of people want it. Whether the studio wants it or not, I don't know. I think really she was only the half-decent members of the Birds of Prey. I kind of liked her, but Hot Takes Tuesdays. Edward Norton is my favourite actor. Love this news. I'm always happy to hear he's doing projects. For me, he will never better his performance than in American History X. I think that was sensational. Roddy Dodge, when people say they're going to boycott stuff, I'm like, stop lying. You will be there on day one. Yeah, pretty much, yeah. Bobcat, I think she's an example of a race-bending character gone right. That's true. That's very, very true. Probably she was successful accidentally on purpose. I don't think they meant for her to be that good, that's for sure. Because the rest of the casting isn't very great, apart from Ewan McGregor, of course. Sanderjan reviews, David Tennant should play Dark Archer in the Green Arrow movie. That would be interesting. I love David Tennant. Great Doctor. Hot Takes Tuesdays. Have you seen 25th Hour? No. What's it about? I've never heard of that film, surprisingly. Is it a modern movie? That's why I've never heard of it. Because I do ignore a lot of modern stuff. Because most of it, when I see trailers or I hear titles, just comes across as so unremarkable. It's just a fantastic Edward Norton movie. Oh, I'll look into it then. Ronnie Dodge, what annoys me about the Snyderverse fans, where are we? Snyderverse fans, is I feel protective over the Machete because they're lovely people. Exactly, they're lovely people, clearly talented people, and they've done nothing wrong. Sam Dejan reviews, they should use Christopher McQuarrie script because it has connections with Green Lantern. That I would like to read that at the very least. Bobcat, I only expected to like Harley in the film, but Ewan and Journey shocked me with how good they were in those roles. Yeah, definitely. Very good performances, no question about that. So, Yang, what's her name? Not Christina Yang, that's from Grey's Anatomy. Kathy Yang did some things right, didn't she? But Listen, I don't think I don't think she's a great director or anything. You've got to choose the best people. She wasn't chosen for any reason of her art or her talent. Christina Yang. Kathy Yang. Always get that name wrong. But yeah, it is an unremarkable era for films, I feel, and TV now. I think we started the noughties really well with TV, like 24 and Smallville and Alias and Prison Break. But I think these original streaming shows are not as good as people claim they are. Bobcat, a lot of you and stuff was improv. I didn't know that. That's amazing. That's fantastic. Makes his performance even better. They were trying to make him as toxic as possible to make the toxic male masculinity commentary. Kavari, BOP proves that Margot Robbie shouldn't have any creative decision yet. She should never, ever have any creative decisions. And hopefully she never does again. And I'm confident she won't. Ronnie Dodge, did you know the movie Twister turned 25 yesterday? I didn't. It's an all right movie, certainly not one of my favourites. Marcus Walker, killing Black Mask was one of the worst mistakes that movie made. Well, they had to kill the toxic male, didn't they? But no women must die. Crazy people, my friend. Crazy people with a crazy mentality, a hateful mentality, who hate a group of people are always bad for business. Sam Dejan reviews DC fandom. They need to announce Man of Steel 2 Batfleck series Wonder Woman 3. You probably get Wonder Woman 3 out of those. Because I don't think Man of Steel 2 is happening. I mean, if it did, that would be sensational. If we wake up one morning and on Twitter it's been greenlit, I'd be so happy. Bobcat, I don't think so. I don't think it was Margot's fault completely. The studio should have said, okay, you can do it, but here's what you've got to do. And also don't hire Kathy Yan. Well, that's the problem, isn't it? Because if she's going to run it, Bobcat, and then they keep on interfering with her decisions, everyone's going to say, you see, they don't let people have freedom. That's the problem. She should never have gone anywhere near the producers, the production. You know, she should have just been an actor, because they knew she's got feminist politics and what she was going to do with the film. They should never have allowed her to do it. That was a mistake. Hot Takes Tuesdays. He was good, but I think they could have cast a better person as Ewan as Black Mask. Yeah, I don't think he screams Black Mask, does he? But obviously it's Ewan McGregor, so no one was complaining. But I get what you mean with Ewan as Black Mask, but obviously they needed a big name in there and they got one. And Ewan is shooting the Obi-Wan Kenobi series right now with a very special friend. He said he did a scene. On the 4th of May, he said as well. So I do hold Margot Robbie responsible. I hold the studio responsible for stupidly letting her have free will. But she probably threatened to quit the role or something and insisted that she got it. Bobcat, Ewan is one of the best villains in the DCEU so far, in my opinion. He was very good, wasn't he? He was very, very, very good. Sam Dejan reviews James Gunn should do Gotham City Sirens. Bobcat agreed. Sam Dejan reviews Carla Gugino should play Catwoman. Never heard of her, so I can't really venture an opinion there, Sam, because I've never heard of her. Well, we've got a Catwoman now, haven't we, in the Batman? So that's done. Jason Momoa's stepdaughter, eh? Nepotism is alive and well. Bobcat, I think Rowan Blanchard would be an amazing Catwoman. I don't know her either, I'm afraid. But we've got a Catwoman, and let's see how she does. It's a clean slate. It's going to be interesting. Ronnie Dodge, could you imagine James Gunn doing a Wonder Woman movie with Gal? Ooh, oh yeah. Oh yeah. That would be a very good replacement for Patty Jenkins. I think we would all be very excited about that. He seems to favour groups and doesn't seem to like the individual one, so that's interesting, isn't it? Apparently, he was offered Superman and said he wanted the Suicide Squad. A Bobcat, she's got the short hair and looks good in all black. Yeah, which is great, but obviously she'd have to perform the part as well. With fan cast, what I notice is a lot of it is on look, but can they pull off the performance? I mean, most people wouldn't afford Michelle Pfeiffer to play Catwoman, but it really worked, and she really did the role justice. But Michelle Pfeiffer has great quality. Hot Takes Tuesday, there are way better castings for Catwoman. James Gunn would be awful as Wonder Woman 2 director. You mean Wonder Woman 3? The humour does not suit Wonder Woman. I don't even think Gal can pull off humour, to be honest with you. And she's a good actress, Bobcat. Hot Takes Tuesday. Everyone in James Gunn movie has the same whack comedy voice. Doesn't seem to affect his box office though, does it? Sam Dejan reviews. I want to see the Reverse Flash. Fingers crossed, I want to see him as well. I think Gunn is good at what he does. He's not Sir Laurence Olivier or anything. He's good at doing what he does, and the mainstream audience like it. Bobcat, I like basically everything Gunn does. I've only seen his Guardians movies, and I like his Guardians movies. Obviously, I've seen his Suicide Squad movie now as well. I like him. As I say, he has his strengths. Groups of people in comic book movies, he knows what he's doing. Hot Takes Tuesdays, yeah, but I think the whole enterprise of MCU is whack. Most of the movies should have been trashed by the critics. But it's not just about the critics. Do people go and see the films? Do people like the films? Do people enjoy the crossovers? Do people enjoy the shared universe? Yes, they do. Hot Takes Tuesday. So they're doing well. So, I mean, the critics get carried away, but they're just judging them on their merits, I suppose. Sam Dejan reviews. She's in Man of Steel. She played Keller. Keller? Who's Keller? Bobcat. He's not trying to change the industry. He's just doing his own thing. Exactly. Hot Takes Tuesday, if they were being honest. Marcus Walker, what are your thoughts on Sucker Punch? It is easily Zach's worst film for me. I have actually never seen it. I was never tempted to see that film, to be honest. It had nothing that attracted me to it. So I have heard people don't like it. Bobcat, Guardians of the Galaxy is my third favourite MCU movie. I really like it. I think I like my three favourites are Captain America, Captain America 2, and Infinity War. I think the best they did. And I like Thor Ragnarok just for the element of the Hulk. He talks. It's brilliant. Bronny Dodge, maybe James Gunn should do a Justice League movie after The Flash. He's better doing group movies. That's a good point. That would be interesting, wouldn't it? I think you're right, Ronnie. He would be perfect. So who knows? Maybe that's the plan there. Kavari, Hot Takes Tuesday. Stop being salty. Marvel makes good, okay movies. Ooh. Marcus Walker, saved yourself the torture. Saved yourself the torture, mate. Yeah, I won't be watching that film. I'm not an obsessive Zack Snyder fan. I appreciate his DC stuff. Hot Takes Tuesday, sure that they enjoy it, but no movies, not even Cat Marvel, got under 70%. Suicide Squad is better than Cat Marvel and quite a few Marvel movies. Yeah, listen, they're not classic films. They're not classic cinema or anything. That's not what they're there for. They're there to go. Basically, you're either a Marvel fan who loves this stuff being turned into live action, or you're a member of the mainstream audience who's going there and enjoying it. and seeing characters cross over and see these relationships being built up, people enjoy it. So whether the first Suicide Squad film is better than most of their films, I don't know if that's true, by the way. It's not really about that. The numbers are there. It's all about numbers. Sam DeJan reviews. She was also in BVS, Sick Punch, Sucker Punch, Watchmen, Zack Snyder's Justice League. Marcus Walker, I love all of Ragnarok. Come at me. Yep. Ragnarok's a good movie. Entertaining. Ronnie Dodge, yeah, Sucker Punch is bad. I think that's kind of one of the things where Zack was left to his own devices. Kavari, as good as Snyder is, he's no Kevin Feige. Well, don't forget, Kevin Feige's not a director. Zack Snyder's a director. We must judge the people on their job roles. Sam DeJan reviews. She was also in the Man of Steel. Sam DeJan reviews. Zack said he would cast her in Catwoman. Well, that's not going to happen. Bobcat, I think a big part of it is the world building and interconnectivity. Exactly. The interconnectivity, the crossovers, people love that. That's what made that franchise so successful. Hot Takes Tuesdays. I'm not being salty. I like many Marvel movies. I just think the majority of films are overrated. But every modern film is overrated. Hot Takes Tuesday. Everything is overrated. As I said, Knives Out is called an amazing original take of a movie. How can it be when it's a whodunit? Bobcat, Sucker Punch is pretty bad though. Kavari, 4-3 sucks, cheesy and corny. No, I really liked it. Not because of 4 mainly, although I think 4's pretty cool in it. It's because the Hulk's in it. He talks. He's there for a long time. We haven't seen Hulk like that before. It's like I'm watching the animated shows of my youth. So I really enjoyed it for that reason. Sanders and Review. She was the communication device on. Oh, right, okay. She was the communication device on Krypton. Sanders and Reviews. James could do Gotham City Sirens. It's a group movie. Bobcat. I love 4-3. So I think that's unanimous, apart from 1 or 2 people. Opinions. I love opinions, and different opinions could cause wars. It's amazing, isn't it? Bobcat, I love 4-3. Yep, just read that. Yes, I love it too. I really enjoyed it. Mainly for Hulk. Kavari, I think James Wan is a better director than Snyder. Facts. Well, that's quite a big hot take. I think James Wan is a brilliant director. What a director, and what a job he did on Aquaman. So I really rate James Wan. Who's the better director? I don't know. I really don't know. I think he's a more cohesive director. He can make things a lot and doesn't cause problems in terms of people getting kind of reactive. So I don't know. Ronnie Dodge, when I see the Flash movie, I will see it as a clean slate and get things right. Yes, let's hope that's what we're going to get. It's a big movie. It's certainly a big movie that I'm really excited about, because that's the one that reboots the whole universe. So, wow. So either the haters are going to be right, or us, the lovers, we're going to call ourselves the lovers, are going to be right. So it's going to be very interesting to get to the end of 2022 and see how it all works out. Hot Takes Tuesdays. I understand why it's successful. The interconnectivity is a genius approach, but phase 1 and 2 and 3 had some terrible stinkers that critics were over the top. Where are we? But phase 1, 2, and 3 had some terrible stinkers. The critics were over the top. 4 rag, awful. But that's your opinion and you're entitled to it. But I find it a very entertaining film. Bobcat, my favourite fight scene in the MCU is and will always be in Guardians Volume 2, when they are escaping the Ravengers. We've come a little bit closer playing. It was amazing to me, visually and musically. Yeah, pretty awesome. Marcus Walker, love always triumphs over hate. Absolutely. BlackRock 316. I think James Wan understands the audience and gives them what they want, and doesn't try to get a reaction similar to what Snyder did with MOS and BVS. Yes, Snyder thinks as long as they're talking about you, it's cool. He loves it. He loves the controversy. He loves it. He's the most talked about director in the world. Sometimes for the right reasons and sometimes for the wrong reasons. So if that's the way he wants to exist, that's up to him. I'd rather be a Steven Spielberg. I'd rather be a George Lucas, even though people said some hateful stuff about him in the prequels, but mostly people see Lucas as a pioneer. So I'd rather be them than someone that I mean, there are lots of directors in Hollywood's past that have been controversial, right? But now they're seen as icons. I don't think that Snyder is going to go down in terms of 70s and 80s directors, but I think this era, he will be remembered from this era for sure, because there's many unremarkable creatives, and he's very talented. But as I say, if he was willing just to direct stuff and make it look good, and someone else tells the story, I think his career will be in a much better position, because he makes things look amazing. So, Ronnie Dodge, I love 4-3. Yeah, the second 4 movie was not great. Do you know what? I don't mind the second one. It's not great or anything, but I think it's not the Dark Knight. I think, as I say, Wonder Woman 84, 4-2, they missed the point. You've got to be going for it like the Dark Knight did, right? Marcus Walker, the only MCU films I really don't like are Thor: The Dark World and Captain Marvel. I thought Captain Marvel was solid, and I think 4-2 was solid. Not great, not brilliant, not bad. Kavari, James Wan has $3 billion movies under his belt. Remind me how many Snyder has. And oops. Listen, it's not about box office. Box office obviously helps you get more movies. I understand that. But I don't think it's just about box office. I can't tell you who is the better director, because I just think at the end of the day, in terms of his look for Atlantis and Zach's look for Atlantis, James Wan wins. That's for sure. Ronnie Dodge, Far From Home had some issues with me. I'm excited for No Way Home. Well, the Spider-Man movies with Tom Holland are just watered down, my friend. That's my problem with them. Ronnie Dodge, what I love about Aquaman is its action and action. Stunningly looking film. Hot Takes Tuesday. Snyder is a very talented director, but his storytelling and subversion of Superman will always make me feel lukewarm on him. Snyder and Wan are both brilliant in their own way. I couldn't agree more. Hot Takes Tuesdays. Bobcat, I hate Captain Marvel, lol. Only reason I'm seeing Captain Marvel 2 is Monica and Miss Marvel. I didn't hate it. I didn't think it was amazing. I think there were some missed opportunities there. I think it's okay. Bobcat, I love both of Tom Holland's Spider-Man films, you see. You do and I don't. I think Captain Marvel's solid. You hate Captain Marvel. That's interesting, isn't it? Marcus Walker, I think Snyder has made a bigger impact on the pop culture landscape. And as you say, for bad and for good. Well, people talk about him, but James Wan is a very talented director. And this is how you work for studios. The ones that don't cause problems but can bring in butts on seats get the work. Kavari, Snyder underwater looks depressing as hell. I didn't like it. Compared to James Wan, if I never saw James Wan's, I would have loved it. But James Wan's is sensational. James Wan's vision for Atlantis is better than Snyder's, in my opinion. Hot Takes Tuesdays, I like Snyder's Atlantis a lot. It was darker and creepy, but Wan did an amazing job as well. But Volker was much cooler in Zach's version. I like Mira's accent. I liked Mira's accent, but I also thought Mira was pretty cool in Aquaman. It didn't creep me out. Snyder's vision for Atlantis didn't creep me out. It just wasn't as stunning as what Wan did, in my opinion. Hot Takes Tuesdays might be the only one. Maybe. You see, the thing is with opinions, even if you're the only one that holds them, they're valid for you. But they don't have to be valid for everyone else. Everyone doesn't have to agree with me or you. That's the point. Bobcat, here's my thing. If they released Snyder's Justice League, no problems, no Whedon, it would have been bashed. Not because the movie is bad, because it would have been chopped into a theatrical cut. Maybe. Black Rocks 316. I'm so glad James Wan made the characters talk underwater instead of talking in the bubble. Seems too much work to talk into the bubble. I hate the bubble. Every time they're going to talk, they do a bubble. Mira was fighting Steppenwolf, and she started making a fucking bubble. It's ridiculous. I hate the bubbles. Now, scientifically, it makes sense that they need a bubble. But I'm sorry, in a film, in live action art, it simply doesn't work, Black Rock 316, and I couldn't agree with you more. So I do not like the bubble. And I remember when Grace Randolph said something on Twitter before Aquaman came out about the bubbles, and then James Wan quote tweeted saying, "There's no air bubbles in my movie or speech bubbles." Hilarious. Bobcat, in order for me to scream, I need this bubble here. It's ridiculous. It's dumb. Sorry, Zach, but it's dumb. It doesn't work. Love you. Oh dear, we're going to have to go very shortly. It's been a very, very good chat, hasn't it, again? Ronnie Dodge, I love Tom Holland, but so far Cherry and Kels Walking have been hit and miss. Do you know what? Tom Holland, these actors these days, a lot of them are not going to be remembered. They're not great, iconic, legendary, classic actors, but they deliver their lines and they do okay. Kavari, what if Snyder made Aquaman instead of James Wan? Would it have gotten the box office and love as James' version got? Well, it would have been a very different film. For example, Superman and Batman would have been in it. It would have been a shared movie. I don't think they would have. I think they were going down the same kind of way, but it would have been delivered differently because it's Snyder. So that's interesting. I don't know who brought James Wan on because he came on before Hamada took over DC, and Hamada and Wan had worked together before over at New Line Cinema. So it's interesting. I don't know who brought Wan on. I always thought that Snyder brought James Wan on. I'm not sure. It must have been a studio decision. I think Kevin Sujihara brought Wan on. A pretty cool decision. Bobcat, they all would be walking around like Sandy from SpongeBob LOL. Oh, shots fired. Ronnie Dodge, Mira's accent put me off in the Snyder Cut. Why make her speak in a British accent? It was weird. I suppose it was just a creative choice he made. Bobcat, oh God, I don't want Snyder's cut of that movie. I'll tell you what, all my Snyderverse friends are going to kill me, aren't they? I love Zack Snyder's DC movies, that's for sure. But you know what? There comes a point when you start seeing through people a little bit. Hot Takes Tuesdays, I like the air bubbles and echolocation speech, but it would not have made sense in a full live-action movie. One made the right decision to drop it, but in Zack's realism take on the characters. Hot Takes Tuesdays, it worked. It's interesting. I found it tiresome. I know what you're trying to say, kind of the reality thing, but at the end of the day, it's, reality and comic book characters sometimes just don't go together. And that's one of the issues with Snyder. Kavari, isn't it funny how BVS and MOS didn't make $1 billion, but Aquaman did? Well, I don't think it's funny unless you hate Zack and you're glad he didn't make $1 billion. But I think it's remarkable to come after a flop like Justice League and make $1 billion. But you know why it made $1 billion? No film makes $1 billion, Kavari, unless it's got repeatable viewing qualities. And that film does. People loved that movie. So Zack says people weren't talking about Aquaman. They were, Zack, just not in a negative way like they do about your movies. Bobcat, Aquaman, why are you wearing a scuba suit to talk? Oh, dear. Oh, John Campea. Who watches John Campea? Why Hollywood is boycotting the Golden Globes? The John Campea show. Well, we all know whose side he's going to take, don't we? Should I give you my take before I go about the Golden Globe boycott? They've not really done anything bad. They refuse to nominate awards and award awards to people because of their minority basis, because of what they identify as. They want to give it purely on talent. And this is where the controversy is. And at the end of the day, this is where Hollywood is now. It's fascism. It's a different kind of fascism, but it's fascism. Marcus Walker, the GGGs are doomed. They're doomed, yeah. Fascism has killed them. Bobcat, they should all have human-sized gerbil balls, lol. Are you saying that's what Zack would have done? I'm going to have to wave you all good night. It's been a really good chat, I've really enjoyed it. Ronnie Dodge, if the Snyderverse fans start coming at you, I'm sure they will get over it and man up. I thought you were going to say, if they come after you, I'll deal with them, Mick. Come on, Ronnie, I expect some backup here. I may look strong. Do you know what? about a year or so ago, they came after me because I said I wasn't gonna support Justice Con the first year because one of the people organising it came at me because I quote tweeted her about something. So I said, look, if she's running it, I'm not going to support it. And they all came at me, unfollowing me, attacking me on Twitter. Bobcat, maybe I do want his cut of the movie just for the laughs. Hot Takes Tuesdays. They apparently have no one of colour working for the HWFP. Oh, is that what they're saying? If that's true, they should get criticism. Well, do you know what? It's difficult, isn't it? Have they gone out purposely and not employed? And let's not just talk about people of colour here, Hot Takes Tuesday, because you know and I know they're the most represented minority in the world. What about natives? It's their fucking country. Why are we always talking about people of colour when they're the most represented minority? But at the end of the day, if they had the chance to employ minorities and they didn't, that is wrong. But maybe it just worked out that way. I don't know. But at the end of the day, there's better ways of dealing with these situations. That's why the entertainment industry needs a regulator. There's no regulator in Hollywood. Who's going to regulate their behavior? Or are they just going to regulate other people's behavior, right? Marcus Walker, the level-headed fans have nothing bad to say about you, Mick. Oh, thank you. That means a lot. Ronnie Dodge, I saw Aquarium 8 times in the cinema. I think you mean Aquaman. Yeah, I loved it. Ronnie Dodge, they're probably scared that someone like Ricky is going to roast them again. Ricky? Who's Ricky? Bobcat, what about Aquaman's hair? How would it fit in a head bubble? I have so many questions. Hot Takes Tuesday. People of colour means a non-white people. Fair enough. Hot Takes Tuesday includes Native Americans in people of colour. How many Native Americans are represented in the entertainment industry, Hot Takes Tuesday? And how many black people are represented in Hollywood, Hot Takes Tuesday? Ronnie Dodge, yeah, I will deal with them, mate. Thank you. So when we talk about representation and inclusion, there is no real representation and inclusion in the entertainment industry. They bring out people who look like minorities that are from the same group of people that they are. That is not representation. That is cheating. That's creating an illusion. That's the truth. There's no true representation in Hollywood. Ronnie Dodge, yeah, Wonder Meg unblocked me for some reason. Oh, she still hasn't unblocked me. Never mind. Bobcat, love the streams. At the end of the day, these people ain't fucking celebrities. They're not elite people. I don't care. Bobcat, love the streams. I love doing them. And I love you guys commenting and everything. Hot Takes Tuesday. Yeah, I think the Native Americans should be represented as well. I agree with you. Thank you, Hot Takes Tuesdays. It's good that you agree with me. If you didn't, we would have just debating. There would have been no hate there because, as I say, everyone's entitled to their opinions. As long as we don't become racist and start being abusive and stuff like that, I'm fine with it. But the point is, these are issues, that can be dealt with in such a better way than these people in Hollywood are dealing with them. Because for them, it's all black and white. There's no in the middle. There's no discussion. Marcus Walker, why did she block you, Mick? She said something, and I had an opposite opinion when I quote tweeted her, and she told me to F off or something. She lost her temper with me. So, and then she went on, and if people came at me, and I made it clear. If the abuse continued, I would call the police. So she got scared. And I said, I'll call the police of every person who abused me. And they all got scared. They didn't like it. And I said it on my channel that I was going to call the police. And they didn't know how to deal with it because they're not used to people saying, I'm not scared of you. I'm not intimidated. But keep on coming at me and see what happened. Marcus Walker, all right. Bobcat, would his hair be hanging out? Ronnie Dodge, I don't know why I said Ricky. I think I've lost it. This message is held for review. Hot Takes Tuesday. I'm saying when I said people of colour, I was including Asians, Hispanics, blacks and Native Americans. Fair enough. They want to review that, so I'm going to have to hide it. But no, I'm not offended by it. Just so you know. Right, everyone. It's been a good laugh. We've laughed. Bobcat's having a joke all of his own, which is great, with Snyder doing Aquaman. Very, very interesting and funny. Anyway, I have to bid you good night. It's 25 to 10 here, so I need to have my last bit of Coca-Cola with a cigarette, put my old man to bed, and then the party really starts. Bobcat, I want that Halloween costume, to be honest, not even joking anymore. This would be amazing. Halloween costume. Any particular Halloween costume? Right, everyone, that's it. I'm going to have to leave you now. It's been another successful stream in terms of us enjoying ourselves and the comments flowing and the reactions from me flowing. That's what I call successful, not that we've only had a few people on the stream. I believe the more I do this, the more people will come to the party anyway. Ronnie Dodge, totally agree with you, Hot Takes Tuesday. Bobcat, Aquaman with the head bubble. So Ronnie Dodge said, totally agree with you, Hot Takes Tuesday. Bobcat, Aquaman with the head bubble. That would be fucking hilarious. Right, that's it for tonight. I'm going. Have a lovely evening. It's been great. Keep up this level of banter for the next live video. I'm back tomorrow morning with the Big Mouth Daily Live. And then I'm back in the evening around 6:30 p.m. UK time with Big Mouth Live. That's dramatic, isn't it? So I will be back then. Have a lovely evening, everyone. Thanks for the support. Thanks for the company. Thanks for the conversation. And yes, I will see you tomorrow. Marcus Walker. See you, Mick. See you, Marcus. Bobcat. Excited for the next stream. So am I, Bobcat. I'm happy to see you all again and have chats. It's been great. This is the long goodbye, though, isn't it? Bye-bye. I'll bring my head bowl. Oh, God. Oh, that is funny, though, isn't it? It is funny. Anyway, I will see you tomorrow. See you later. It's been fun. Bye-bye.